Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here from aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Gorilla Fastback GT. These are the first two versions of the Fastback GT, which are the Mirage here in this baby blue and orange tone, and the Bandit, which is a black and rose gold tone. This builds upon the original Fastback with a couple of upgrades, and it costs $350 more retail. And so I have one of the original Fastbacks here, and I'm going to show you a couple of the differences in a moment. So Gorilla is a Swiss watch brand that was co-founded by Octavio Garcia that used to work at Audemars Piguet for quite a while. And I mention that because he's a very good designer and he's always been inspired by cars. This is a controversial design in the sense that not everyone likes it, but that's okay. It's not meant to be that way. It's inspired by 1960s and 70s American muscle cars. And the name of the brand, the name of the model, everything is sort of inspired by that. And today, it's meant for people that like the look of those American muscle cars, as well as the people today that collect them, restore them, and that own a lot of the modern versions of those muscle cars. So that's the niche of the brand, and I think it does it quite well. The one downside I would say of these watches is, well, again, you might not like the style. That's, of course, up to your personal taste. Is the size. They say 44 millimeters wide, which it is without this relatively dramatic sort of structure here. This is a guard for the crown, so the crown guard as well as the crown make it close to 49 millimeters. So if you just have the case, it's 44, but then with this, it's over 48. And you can see that it's not thin, it's not super thick. I guess it's proportional, but again, it is a larger watch. So for me, this is about the maximum I can go, and I have relatively small wrists. So if you have medium to large wrists, it shouldn't be an issue. I do like, however, how the design of the watch and how the strap integrates means that it wraps around the wrist and is very, very comfortable. So this has a good sort of all-day wear kind of feel. The Fastback GT does a couple of things new, and the most important thing is the new movement. So now they use, rather than an 8000 series Japanese Miyota, it has finally a 9000 series, which is just a little bit more modern, a little bit more high performance. So the specific movement in here is the Japanese Miyota 90S5, and that movement is typified by having, it's actually a little bit hard to see here on the Bandit here, an open display for the escapement. So you can see right there on the dial through this structure. It's not perfectly visible, but there's a view of the regulation organ, whereas here on the original model, there was no window. I guess I can move the time here. You can see that there's no window there. So this, again, older one uses the 8000 series movement. So is it worth an upgrade for the new movement? Sure. I mean, if you already have one of the old ones and you don't feel like you need new colors or anything like that, there's not necessarily a reason to upgrade. The dial is nice and deep, and I think they did, always a good job. This one I like a little bit more. I find it legible. And again, this is sort of the Gulf oil colors. Now, there's no official relationship with Gulf, so they don't use the name. But if you see the colors, you're like, well, yep, that's the sort of Gulf oil colors. And I think that from a color perspective, they did an excellent job. Another new thing is the display case back. So now you can finally see the movement. It looks pretty good here. And again, on the original Fastback, you just had this case back that had a gorilla, which was fine. I don't know. Some people thought it was kind of cheesy, but it was okay. But I definitely prefer being able to view the movement through the case back. Another difference is the strap, which is much upgraded. And you can see here that they use a two-tone. So there's two pieces of rubber there, whereas the original one just had one piece. And I have to say the original strap was a little bit of a weak point, and I knew that they were interested in upgrading it. So you can see here on the Bandit, there's also that two-tone. So the strap definitely feels better. So the Fastback GT versus the Fastback, new strap, new movement. There might be a couple of little changes here, other changes here and there, but for the most part, it seems the same. Oh, another difference is on the forged carbon case. You can see here that there is a motif, looks like carbon fiber, which is funny, a carbon fiber motif on a forged carbon case. This ring right here that is an anodized aluminum ring that has a color, and then there's a ceramic top bezel, which here is in sort of this powdered baby blue, which is a color you don't see very often. A little bit more standard here with the black ceramic bezel, and here you can see a slightly different kind of motif here on the forged carbon that is a horizontal line for the Bandit watch as opposed to the slightly different one for the Mirage. Let's put the Mirage one on. I don't think I've done that yet. Again, I really like this one. It's not an everyday watch, but it's something that I could wear on a regular basis and enjoy the colors. And again, if you're not into the colors, don't get this watch. If you do, go ahead. Reading the time is straightforward, hours, minutes, and seconds. The hour hand is really a disc. And so there's actually a hand, so it's easy to read, but this entire disc moves, which it's gimmicky, but it's fun. The minute hand is obviously pretty easy to see here because it's high contrast, and the seconds hand is moving around, which adds an additional sense of movement. It didn't necessarily need a seconds hand, but I like it a lot. And again, the proportions of the hands are all ideal, and I think that comes from the fact that the person designing this watch knows proper watch design. So again, this is the Gorilla Fastback GT series, and the first two, again, are the Bandit and the Mirage. Of course, you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch. Price is $1,150, which again is $350 more than the original Fastback. Huge upgrade? No. Worth the $350? It's a personal decision. I think that the watch feels a little bit nicer. You know, you might be able to get one of the new straps and stick it on here and get a lot of the benefit, especially if you're not necessarily interested in the new movement. The new movement is going to be, you know, it's 4 hertz. This is 3 hertz. This is going to be a little bit more accurate. This is going to be a little bit less accurate. So if money isn't an issue, I think the Fastback GT is definitely the way to go. But if you already have one of these nice watches and you sort of wear it as a fun piece and the specific movement doesn't matter to you, then there's probably other watches in the future that Gorilla is going to come out with if you are a fan of this interesting case and the whole theme. Again, this is the Gorilla Fastback GT. The Bandit, the Mirage, retail price is $1,150, and you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch. Thanks.